If you would have told me 10 years ago that one day in the future I'd be buying lights for the speakers in my pinball machine, I'd have told you that you were crazy. Yet here we are, folks. Greetings and welcome to Alpha Bravo Pinball. Today on the program, speaker lights, the hottest trend in the pinball industry today. Are they a complete waste of money or a worthwhile upgrade? Well, watch and find out. I'll talk you through the installation and show you a demo. Let's get started. Speaker light upgrades for pinball machines have been on an upward trend for a few years now, and I've ignored them until now, but a couple of things changed for me at least. First is Stern has started including speaker lights as a factory option on their more recent releases. Some models of Jaws and John Wick both include them from the factory. Side note here, by the way, this isn't the first time Stern takes inspiration from community mods and upgrades in Bling and starts including them from the factory. You could say the same thing about art blades and shooter knobs. Also, breaking news from a couple of days ago, Stern themselves are now selling a speaker light kit similar to the one we're about to take a look at here today. Anyway, the second thing that did it for me and why I chose this particular third-party kit we'll be looking at today is just how integrated and polished it is. A friend of mine did this upgrade to his machine a few weeks ago, sent me a quick video from his phone, and wow, I was pretty impressed, enough to go out and buy my own kit. The kit in question is the PixlWav kit from Pinwoofer with Expression Lights support. The really cool thing about this kit is how it integrates with the factory Expression Lights, so of course it only works with games with Expression Lights. This kit also requires 5¼ inch speakers, by the way, which are pretty much standard on most Stern LE games, but not on the Pro and Premium games. My game is a Premium, but I have already previously upgraded it to 5¼ inch speakers using a Flipper Fidelity kit, which I like a lot. The company that sells the light kit that we're going to look at also sells speaker upgrades, by the way, and you can definitely buy the whole thing from them. But what I'm showing you today is a bit of a hybrid, the PixlWav lights installed with Flipper Fidelity speakers. Before we move on with the video, a few quick disclaimers. I bought this kit with my own money. I have no affiliation with Pinwoofer or any other pinball company in the industry for that matter, and Pinwoofer did not know I was going to make this review when I bought it. In fact, I didn't know myself. It's not until I was actually completely done with the installation and playing the game and it's like, wow, this is pretty cool. Some of you all on the internet might want to see it. That's when I decided to make this video. With that out of the way, let's talk about the upgrade and the kit itself. I have to say, I think it's really nicely put together. The first thing I actually did before buying it is going to their website and checking out the instructions. You can tell a lot about a product just by reading the installation instructions, and it definitely looked good to me with clear instructions, photos of the installations. I had zero concerns before purchasing it. The cool thing about the kit, like I mentioned before, is how it taps into the factory Expression Lights. It comes with a little board that sits in the cabinet right next to the factory Expression Lights circuit boards. It's installed with double-sided sticky tape here, and I just put down a piece of blue painter's tape in case I want to remove the kit. It'll save myself a sticky mess. At first, when I saw the RJ45 connector on the PixlWav kit, I thought maybe they were tapping into the node board communication bus, but nope, that's not appears to be what's going on here. It looks like instead they're tapping into the output of the Expression Lights node board. The connector that it taps into has only 3 wires. I'm just a wild guess here, but it's probably like power, ground, and some sort of serial signal. From there, the PixlWav uses its own RJ45 connector, presumably so they can just use off-the-shelf Ethernet cable up to the back box. But yeah, it's probably neither Ethernet nor Stern's proprietary node board connection. Good idea, honestly, because Stern could change their node board communication through software updates at any time. Tapping into the output of the Expression Light board seems like a safer way to go for sure. Up in the back box, obviously, we have the speaker lights themselves. We have another circuit board at the other end of the Ethernet cable with the circuitry that drives the lights, and we have a power supply. A couple of comments here. First, in terms of the speaker lights, I really like how these go in and make for a super solid mount for the speakers themselves, which sit on top. This is a much better mounting system than the mounting system I had previously with the Flipper Fidelity kit for these speakers, which was basically just a couple of standoffs and a foam piece between the speaker and the speaker panel. The PixlWave's instructions, by the way, even make a point to say you want a nice tight seal between the speakers and the mounting piece. They recommend a gasket if needed, depending on what speakers you're using. I was pleasantly surprised here that the Flipper Fidelity speakers were a perfect fit and no extra gasket is needed. And yeah, this is just far better than the mounting solution I had before installing this kit. In terms of the power supply, it taps into the line voltage connector, which I think is there on the machine in case you use a line voltage accessory like a bill validator or something like that. So note, if you have your game on route and you have a line voltage, you're already using that line voltage connector, you might have an issue here. But from my point of view as a homeowner, I think this is awesome. This is far better in my mind than having a mod, using the factory power supply. The fact that they're using their own power supply means they're not putting any extra load on the factory supply that, obviously the game wasn't intended to do. My only critique here is the power supply they supply. It just kind of sort of sits at the base of the back box. It's not really secured. You could always add your own sticky tape to fasten it down. Given my game is for home use, I didn't think it was going anywhere. It didn't really bother. But if you want a bulletproof installation, that might be something that you want to try to address. And finally, their little controller board, just like the power supply, actually in the box with the kit, I didn't see anything to secure it down. And given it has a bunch of exposed connectors on it, I think for this, it's probably a good idea not to have it loose in the back box. So I added my own sticky tape here to install it on the back wall of the back box. I would prefer if there was a more solid mounting solution provided in the kit itself here, but really not a big deal. That's it for the installation, though. In terms of difficulty, I'd rate this one like a 1.5 out of 10. It's like super quick and easy, pretty much just plug and play. Just remember, unplug the game when you're about to get to that line voltage connector. That's like, you really don't want to skip that step. After I connected everything up, I did experience a slight problem where the speaker lights were working, but the factory expression lights were not. So now we get to talk about Pinwoofer after sales support. I have to say, folks, this was some of the best support I've gotten from any company ever. I emailed them with a description of the problem, and I had a response within minutes. They shipped me out a replacement cable straight away, and within a couple of days, popped it in, boom, all good. So yep, there was a defective cable in my original kit. Thoughts on this? Well, this is the real world. Stuff like this happens, folks. In my opinion, the real test of a company is not how they treat you before they have your money, but how they treat you after they have your money. And in this regard, 5 out of 5 stars. I would not hesitate for a second to buy more products from this company after having experienced firsthand how they support the product after the fact. And remember, it's not like they knew I was making a video or going to make a big deal out of this. It's really not a big deal, and they did the right thing. It was awesome. Alrighty, on to the demo. This is the point where I shut up for a second and let you see the kit in action on Rush. As you can see, the speaker lights animations mirror the factory expression lights. I think it's really clever how they've mirrored the animation on both sides of the ring, but reversed on one side. They're effectively taking what's a linear animation on the factory lights and transforming it into a circular one, and it just works really, really well. It also makes this mod honestly look like the game could have come this way. This is miles ahead of any other speaker lights kit that I've seen that's not integrated with game. All right, conclusions. At first, when I saw the kit running, other than it looking really, really cool, obviously, one of the things that struck me is, wow, this thing is really bright. Like, yeah, really, really bright. It's hard to see just how much on camera, of course, but take my word for it, it's bright. I was a little worried about glare. There's indeed a reflection of the rings in the glass that you can see, but I'm pretty much fine with it. There's a couple of reasons why. First of all, I do have anti-reflective glass on my game, which really minimizes that reflection quite a bit. But second, and perhaps most importantly, the rings are not at all in the way or overlapping any of the shots on the game. In other words, when I'm playing the game, I'm not seeing those reflections. So it's really not an issue at all. The reflections are like way out of your line of sight when you're playing the game. With that said, if you play in a dark room like I do, yep, it's plenty bright. I kind of call it like an expression lights amplifier. If you love the expression lights on your game, you'll probably like these too. I have heard comments from some folks online that don't like the factory Stern expression lights and find them distracting. If that's you, probably not a kit I would recommend, obviously. But Pinwoofer, if you're watching this, it might be cool to add a dimmer kit to the kit in the future, so people can choose their own brightness. Overall, though, I am super, super happy with my purchase. I think it's awesome. I paid $165 US, but totally, totally worth the money. I think it's a super cool looking upgrade. It integrates with the music and the game so well. It just looks awesome. If I ever get another game in my lineup with expression lighting, it's a no-brainer. I would almost certainly get another one of these kits to go with it. I hope this video was useful. Thank you for watching, and please join me again next time for more pinball here on Alpha Bravo Pinball. Good night, everyone.